Hello and welcome to Moneylife News and Views. I am Devashish Basu. Last week, the Central Bureau of Investigation searched the residences of 3 middle-level executives of Securities and Exchange Board of India. This was in connection with the Sharda Ponzi scheme of West Bengal. The news passed off with barely a murmur, but the hapless SEBI officials would now be left dealing with the ignominy and stress of this action. To us, the silly CBI move on a scam that erupted a decade ago would seem laughable, but it is not only sinister and perverse, but CBI's raid raises several larger issues that the government ought to address immediately. It's intriguing that CBI has shown little interest in the most scandalous and the biggest collective investment scheme ever from the Sahara Group. In August last year, Vivek Agarwal, Joint Secretary, Cooperatives and Central Registrar, wrote an extraordinary letter to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs that 4 multi-state cooperative societies of the Sahara Group had raised an astounding 86,673 crore over 10 years from 2010, when Sharda was at its peak, from crores of depositors and was unable to make repayments. There are frequent demonstrations of depositors in front of Sahara's offices, and there are cases suicides as well. Now, how does the Sharda scheme or the Sharda scam compare with Sahara's? At its peak, Sharda had raised about 10,000 crore. In contrast, Sahara Group had picked up 110,000 crore, that's 11 times the amount, without any fanfare, completely unaffected by the high-profile trial in Supreme Court, which led to the group chairman Subrata Roy being sent to Tihar jail in March 2014. The Supreme Court order was part of a long and bruising battle with SEBI in connection with 24,000 crore raised by 2 Sahara realty entities by issuing optionally fully convertible debentures without SEBI's permission. If CBI targets 3 middle-level SEBI officials and stays away from something that's almost 11 times larger, its action will obviously seem motivated. For those who remember, Sahara had the temerity to put out large front-page advertisements calling SEBI a Sarkari Gunda when it acted against Sahara for illegally raising money from the public. The big question is, why allow collective investment schemes at all? Now, what does SEBI have to do with Sharda? Well, SEBI is supposed to regulate what are called collective investment schemes. Forget the official nomenclature. These are essentially chain money schemes which pay old investors high returns with the money raised from new investors. Since such a business model is unsustainable for more than a few years, they go bust while destroying the lives of poor and the middle class. But by then, the allure of high returns would have caught on like wildfire, allowing a scheme to raise easily billions of rupees, and that too very, very rapidly. Sharda was one such scheme, as were Rose Valley, MPS Greenery and hundreds of others across India, which are regularly destroying hundreds of billions of rupees of the poor. Some time ago, a reader alerted us to this funny scheme called Swiss Mutual Fund, which offered a stupendous 25% return per month, plus 10% commission, plus 10% bonus, 10% revenues and daily profit payout, all guaranteed by so-called Swiss Mutual Fund. You can easily see what is a collective investment scheme. This is the nature of such schemes. SEBI is supposed to regulate these as part of a regulation which is called SEBI Collective Investment Scheme Regulations 1999, later extensively amended. But this is a completely useless piece of legislation. Here is why. When the amendments to the CIS was passed in 2014, Rajya Sabha member Rajiv Chandrasekhar pointed out the fact that only one scheme, that is an Ahmedabad-based GIFT collective investment management company or whatever, had registered, only one of them had registered itself under SEBI's 99 guideline and was yet to launch a single scheme, while at the same time thousands of Ponzi's have been operating unchecked all over India. Section 36 of the CIS regulation says that units of every CIS shall be listed not later than 6 weeks from the date of closure of the scheme on each of the stock exchanges. Now, have you seen any CIS scheme listed on the stock exchange? Right, there are none. This is not a surprise. the fact is there is no evidence of any genuine business happening under CIS. Schemes such as Sharda thrive under a nexus of politicians and police in every single state. All CIS schemes have essentially been chain money schemes which are frauds and have to be dealt under the Indian Penal Code. There is no role for a securities regulator here. To expect SEBI to regulate them is laughable, but it has been asked to do so. In 1999, CIS regulation came up because of the mid-90s fraud perpetrated by plantation companies. The subsequent amendments came about in 2014 following such scams as Sharda, Rose Valley, etc., since politicians need to show some action, although they were themselves deeply involved. By the way, there is another good piece of legislation called the Price, Chits and Money Circulation Act of 1972, which can do a pretty good job of nipping these kind of schemes in the bud, but this act is supposed to be implemented by the states. But the politicians in the states themselves support such shady schemes and enjoy the money until such schemes go bust. So obviously there is so little action. For years, policymakers debated whether the Reserve Bank of India or SEBI or respective states should deal with such toxic schemes. Under SEBI chairman U.K. Sinha, P. Chidambaram, who was then the finance minister, made SEBI the main regulator of something that cannot even be called securities and is usually built on fraud. Incidentally, Mr. Chidambaram's wife has also been investigated in connection with Sharda. Even then, SEBI has made valiant attempts to regulate these schemes, which are often conceived as criminal enterprises from the start. Its actions, that is SEBI's actions against high-profile schemes such as PAN card clubs, MPS Greenery, Rose Valley, Green Touch projects, the Ramel Group, and a host of others have also been commendable. SEBI was also the first to stop PSCL or Pearls from raising money when it had already raised 20,000 crore. PSCL gamed the legal system and got repeated stay orders until the amount finally ballooned to 49,000 crore plus interest. So in that scam, even the courts were in a way complicit. SEBI has had to face long misuse of legal processes in most of the other cases too. And therefore, in the backdrop of the CBI action, it is simply revolting that someone in Delhi has ignored all of the complexities of these issues involved here and SEBI's unenviable position regarding CIS and has unleashed CBI on a few hapless employees of the market regulator. Thanks for watching.